Okay.
You are such a calm group, I don't even need to ask you to give me your attention, so that's great. I will call to order our meeting for November 12, 2013. Jill, if you would call the roll.
Mr. Matthews.
Here.
Mr. Moffett.
Here.
Mr. Pauley.
Here. We had two sets of minutes prepared for our review, one being the minutes from our trustees meeting dated October 22, 2013, the other from our special meeting held on November 7, 2013. Whether if you have any changes or corrections to those?
No.
Those minutes will stand approved as prepared for us. Next item, before we cover our agenda items, is public speaks. There may be a few of you here tonight who have something to tell us about. No particular order, ma'am. I saw your hand first, if you want to come on up.
I'm Audrey Leach, and I want to thank the trustees. They corrected a problem that I've been dealing with for years with the county. And in one letter, evidently, you straightened out a problem that I've had for years, and I want to thank you. I really appreciate it.
For the numbering?
The numbering and the street. And I don't know about the rest of Fruitland Park, but I know that Maryland has been corrected to a street. So thank all of you.
Sometimes that's all it takes. So.
Yeah, it's for you to get involved instead of the runaround that I got for years and years. Thank you. I appreciate
You're
it.
quite welcome, and thanks for coming out. And sir, I saw your hand next. Come on up. Just tell us who you are. And
I'm name and address. I'm Larry Herdrich. I live out here at 12444 Rock Hill Avenue Northeast.
Okay.
The old, formerly Battershell Turkey Farm back in the day. What I'm here concerned about is I've been at this property since 1986. Mr. Rickard, I'm sure you guys know, passed away.
Yep.
And then his daughter Patty Rickard took it over. Well, since then they have started opening businesses up on his property, which I don't think is legal in my eyes, because I own the lane that goes back to their property. They have easements to use it, egress and egress, all that lawyer stuff that's in the deed. It's a 30-foot lane, and since he's passed away, I have the people's name that's in charge of it. They take care of it. I put 3 speed bumps up after Mr. Rickard passed away, and when he was alive, he said he would tear them down if I would have put them up, even though I do own the lane. So he was one of the kind of gentlemen that liked to take people to court. So I didn't put the speed bumps up. For years, like I said, I've been there since '86. For years, I put up with trucks going down there, filling it up with dirt, rocks, and whatnot from everybody in town. Whenever there was something, oh, go to Mr. Rickard's house, you can dump it over there. And I did notice that he didn't put any wood or anything, but I put up with that for years. Then the next time, it was the Amish guy. He comes in and cuts all the trees down, which I know you guys, townships, knew about that. Left it entire a mess. I had to have the Amish guy put the gravel down because of that. Right now, I can't keep people to quit speeding down the lane. I got a 10-mile-an-hour sign up. I actually just got 2 of them today. I probably should have brought them. I had special made that says I want them to keep off the ditch, go the 10 miles an hour. I have speed bumps up, and I'm ready to put cameras up, because every time I turn around, somebody goes in the ditch. It's 850 foot my lane is to my house. The ditch is probably 3 foot high. I went away on vacation, came back 150 foot. Somebody went into the ditch that's 3 foot high. Now, I don't know who did it. Could have been one of you guys. Without me knowing, I can't just go saying, hey, who did this with that without proof. So now,
say it wasn't me.
no, you know what I mean? This is what I'm up against. I really don't think that they should have these businesses, because he has one business back there now. There's another building that he just emptied after this auction. There's another one beside my house. There's a tent one way back in the back. There's an actual, the old one with the wood building. And there's another tarp building I think that they might be erecting, because they just tore one down, had permission to do that. And the whole thing is, it's day and night. I don't know what the zoning is for this.
Well, here's what I'm most interested in, and that is a little more detail about the business that's being operated, because that is something that we can look at.
I have
Now, what it might be smart to do,
the name of the company.
I haven't been on your lane before, but if I have your permission, I can meet you sometime.
Right, that's what I'd like.
Run back there and take some photographs, get a sense for what's going on.
Yeah, because he's put, since then, the UPS, we know the UPS driver personally. I went to school with them. They're running the house out, the 12446. 12446. They're renting it out and leased it out to another couple. And that was the original home for this easement.
Okay.
So now they're starting to do this business stuff, which Bob Rickard never did. It was all farming.
Okay.
And now they got signs up in front of the buildings. I haven't been back there, but I can see the one at my house is building number 1, and probably building number 2, building number 3. They moved my lane. My mailbox used to be on the north side.
Okay.
They did ask me for permission, and they widened the lane because they got semis coming down.
What's the nature of the business? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're putting up silos.
So are they storing business equipment?
Yeah, they're going out of there every day, and I'm going to have to pull the speed bumps up because of the snow. And it's kind of hard to plow snow over speed bumps. And I just don't. They're just tearing it up, and I don't think that they should even be going down there in the first place with these. The thing wasn't made for semis, and there are load limits even in the township. I noticed at different times that'll be stuck up that they're not even supposed to have, going to Mack trailers, whatnot. I don't know how well that's enforced. I've had not this sheriff here, but I did have the sheriff and filed a report once already. And I tried to talk to the gentleman that owns that company there, and he wouldn't get back to me because the first time I called him, it's because they think they're out on the main road. They're going at least 30 miles an hour sometimes.
Well, a couple of things I want to just, make you accept so that there's no misunderstanding. The private lane issues,
Yeah.
we really don't have any authority to deal with.
Yeah, I kind of figured out. The zoning part in the business.
Yes, that's the concern.
I figured I better come here because, lawyers, I think that they said you was one, they aren't cheap to use. I mean, but if I have to go that route, I'm going, and I don't even want to put the cameras up because that's just more expense.
Yeah, right. Well, I just want to make sure that, we will look at what we can.
Okay.
Dealing with the lane issues, I might be able to give you some suggestions, but.
Because see, they don't even have an address to leave packages. The neighbor guy, the first time they left a package, he told us,
They come to you, huh?
he says, it's not mine, take it back. Now that's why I think they put this building 1, building 2, building 3, and they're just supposed to throw it in the door. Well, they don't even have,
Yeah.
I don't understand it. So I need to get some help if I could.
Well,
Where's your house at? Is it the brick house?
I'm the first house on the right,
Yeah.
going down that lane. It was
Did you
original-
border on the bike trail?
Yeah, that's the other issue I had years ago, when they put that in, because Mr. Rickard wouldn't let them put it where it should have been. So now it's right outside my bedroom window. I've gotten over that a little bit, but I can't get over this driving and all this extra stuff.
Well, they did not want to put that bike trail there, but
I
so it
know.
worked out.
Yeah.
We had to move it over even a little bit farther. It would have been closer to my bedroom, so I could at least shook somebody's hand. So I don't know, what do we do now, or what do I?
do you have any other questions, Ed?
No.
Mike, anything else?
No, but I agree with you on looking into the business part of it.
Yeah, they made the mailboxes wide enough, mine here and the other guys there. And I'm pretty sure that's because they wouldn't put them for them businesses
Sounds like.
someday or whatever. But they got to have an address, and I'm sure gotta be some tax money coming into you if nothing's gonna get done. Somebody needs to pay somewhere down the road.
Well, let's track down this issue of the businesses developing.
They'll say it's private for storage. Well, they gotta go back there and get it, so that's a business to me.
Well, that'll be for, we can address that, but once
Okay.
we figure out what's involved. But I would like to just take a look at it, get some photographs.
Yeah.
Saturday sometime work, or,
Yeah, that's fine. Just give me a date and let me,
well, if you don't mind holding on for just a minute, we'll be taking a break in a little while,
okay,
and then I'll get some contact information from you and see if we can arrange a time on Saturday.
good, thank you.
Very good.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Is this something I can keep too?
Oh, yeah, I made a copy.
All right, anybody else? Sir, come on up. Let us
Thanks.
know who you are and your address.
Rich Hall, 11945 Lair Road, Northeast.
Okay.
Thank you for giving me some time to come here. Appreciate the work you guys have already done in kind of coming off of your project and giving me a chance to come and address the work you guys are doing on my road. I live over on Lair Road. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's a beautiful drive. It's got that canopy of trees. My wife and I have gone out of our way to drive on that road when we get the chance over the past 20 years. And we were able to buy a house there this year. And came home a few weeks ago and found them trimming the trees on that road. And I said, no, you can't do that on this road. You know, it's a gem. I mean, you just don't find roads like this. There's no power lines. You know, there's no need to. And they said they were going to widen the road because it needs to be repaved. And I called the trustees and told them I would like to see about maybe discussing that before we do anything. So they called the crew off the road, which I'm thankful for. I appreciate that. They gave me a chance to come here and bring this issue up with you guys. I brought some pictures of the road if you guys want to see. This is some of those were taken this morning, the ones with snow. I mean, it's a beautiful piece of land, you know, a beautiful drive, and I just hate to see that thing get carved up. You don't find places like that anymore.
Do you want to just address it?
Yep, what we were doing, we're mowing, and I was trimming trees up in the air, kind of squaring it out. So I'm possibly looking into next year on repaving that road. I'm just trying to get ahead of it a little bit. From what I seen, I couldn't tell anywhere that we had crossed any boundary lines or anything like that.
Is that the neighbor you talked to his wife? Or is that with another one? Did you talk to the lady?
That was
That's not the one.
earlier last year.
We had
across the
another one.
street.
They talked to the homeowner's wife, and her and her husband was not communicating to each other, so they thought we hadn't talked to anybody, but we had.
Same road.
Same road.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we all moved there because of that road, and it's kind of our thing. And when somebody comes in, you know, no disrespect, but I see how they carve up the trees around here for the power lines, and I don't want to see that happen there. This is I mean, if it were me, I would put signs up on both ends of that road that say Lexington Township. This is how beautiful we are, you know, and advertise it instead of going and carving it up just to repave it, you know.
Well, I can tell you that it's some interesting issues raised by your questions here, but generally speaking, the roads, this is one area where the road superintendent is given the authority and discretion to make sure the roads are clear. And by the roads being clear, that doesn't literally just mean the path where you travel. It also extends to the right-of-way, make sure there isn't anything in his judgment that's either hazardous or can be a problem in the right-of-way. I'm understanding that you were just cutting within the right-of-way,
Yes,
and
we were just trimming limbs. I mean, wasn't cutting whole trees or anything like that.
We try not to chop anything up, but if it's hanging out over where it's gonna hit the snowplow and stuff like that, then we cut it back.
For what it's worth, I think they do a good job. I mean, I've been, you drive through North Canton and they just butcher up the trees, and they make them a joke. And I think you guys do a decent job, but it's just I've only lived there for a few months now, and 1 month after I moved in, the guy that owns the trees brought in an Amish logging company and started clearing out the trees and couldn't sleep for about a month, and then you guys are on the road and it's like, no!
There's an assault on your trees.
Yes, yes. Well, they're not mine, and that's the thing. I have no control over that.
Well, we try not to chop anything up. Once in a while, there's a tree that's hanging out, you cut it down and maybe it's just in the road and it's gotta come down, that's all. But we don't try to chop them up like this, not like the power plant.
Yeah, I understand that. I would like to ask if there's a couple of things to consider. I know you can't just leave it. The roads deteriorate, they have to be fixed. And I know that those trees, they're gonna hang eventually and you're gonna have a fall once in a while. I would like to consider maybe taking bids from companies who can accommodate that level of a tree hang. I mean, not all companies have to operate 20 feet up or whatever. Maybe you can find a company that can work with that and not have to bring some of those tree limbs down. I would also like for you to possibly consider some kind of protection for that road. Designated a scenic byway or something like that, just to make sure that it gets, it's really a gem. I see people riding their bikes down that road every day, and they come out of their way to go down that road. It's a real special treat.
It is nice.
Well, just to conclude on the tree issue, are you done cutting the trees, or is there anything else?
There's still a few spots that we need to trim back a little bit.
But you don't have to remove any trees?
No, we don't have to remove any trees.
But you'll do that as conservatively as you can and still get your job.
He's been really nice to work with. When he was out in front of my place, I kind of went nuts, and he brought me down a little bit, so I do appreciate that.
Well, Mike and I went out and looked at some of that spots that we trimmed, and it just, they were hanging out over the road. We had to trim them. But it doesn't, they'll grow back. In a couple of years, you'll never know we trimmed them.
Yeah, it's those 2 years getting there. I might have a heart attack and core out before that happens.
Yeah, then he'll be back cutting some more. So.
They'll dig something about 6 feet deep for me if you do.
Well, it is nice of you to come out and share the thoughts with us, but I just hope you understand where we're coming from.
I do, and I think you guys are sensitive to that now. I kind of trust your judgment on that. I just wanted to make a point that, we can't just carve that out. It's really a gem for the township. And
fair enough.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. All right, next, anybody? If anybody else wants to talk, just let me see your hands. All right, we're going to move on with our agenda items. Ed, go off the road department if you would.
Mike?
Monthly report, October 2013. Cleaned equipment, repaired equipment, ditch elimination on solar, hauled tires to the recycle, dug out bad spots and repaired Fisher, Northland, and Parkmont, roadside ditched Price Street and Greenbrier, grader ditched Rock Hill and Lexington, roadside mowing, installed new lights in the back of the shop, stop sign and road inspection complete, one paid holiday.
Motion to file the report.
Second?
Yes.
Request to approve the list of roads to be submitted to Stark County Engineer for seasonal weight restrictions. And I believe I have a list in here.
Any changes from last year, or is it the same list?
No, I don't believe there is.
It's the same list.
Same list?
It's the same.
You don't have any problem with it? No, it's the same as last year. I'll make a motion, we approve the list.
Second?
Yes,
Request a purchase order to Henderson Truck Equipment in the amount of $200 for 2 seal kits for the spinners on truck 11 and truck 12.
So moved.
Second?
yes,
Request to approve payment to Dexter Company in the amount of $187.57 for a part for the side mount on the roadside mower.
$181.
100, yep.
$181.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
yes,
Discuss the steel ceiling at the road department.
Since we're putting new lights up in the road department, Mr. Poy looked at it, and if we were to install new ceiling in the second half, well, the first half has got new ceilings in it, and it would brighten the place up, and we're going to insulate it. It would be our idea to insulate it, and it would save money like that. The road department would do the work with supervision by Mr. Pauly as far as the power electric. And it would be a project that might not get done for a couple weeks, but this winter, since we're not going to have much snow, the road department would be able to do the work. What was the cost on it?
we already have the light fixtures, new light fixtures out there.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of buying the steel and the insulation to
Yeah.
finish it.
Quote is for $29.37.86.
I'll make a motion, we proceed with the project at a cost of
$2,937.86.
$2,937. So we do have,
Yes.
well, I'm going to get into more money issues here, a couple more, but we do have the money to do it. I'm not sure which account you want to take it out of.
Oh, I'll find it.
She'll figure that out.
It just makes sense because we're gonna take all those old light fixtures down, and it would be senseless to put new fixtures up on that old ceiling, and it's not insulated, so that's why.
No,
Good idea.
there won't be any freight or anything on that. It's a firm price.
No, that's a quote from Lowe's, and they said they believe there might be a 2% discount yet on that price.
Okay.
Discuss the installation of fuel tanks.
Okay, now that's another thing. We've got somebody that is going to supply us with new double wall tanks. All we have to do is put a cement pad down, and we had a canopy donated. So what we're proposing to do there is put up new fencing, put a cement slab down, and they're going to supply us with 3 tanks. One of them will be for off the road. It would be much cheaper for our tractors and things like this. So, and we had the canopy donated, like I said, and they'll do the work on that in between some of their other jobs. So there'll be no extra labor involved. They'd kind of like to get the cement poured if the weather breaks. But I think it'll be worth it. We're going to have to do something with our old tanks anyhow, because they got to be really old. They're getting rusty, and they've been painted several times. So I think this is a good project. I'll make a motion. We approve the purchase order. How much is the purchase order? Mike?
$867.50.
$867. That's the total cost of it. That includes electrical materials and everything needed to put it up.
Is that Lowe's too? Or is it
Marble supply.
Marble Supply?
Well, no, that's just a letterhead, I used to copy that. I got most of the pricing from Lowe's.
Okay.
We'll donate electrical.
I'll second it.
Yes.
I have one more thing. Seems like tonight that I'm spending money. We've been looking for several years for a sewer jet cleaner. In our allotments, they have 12-inch pipes, and there's an awful lot of them that are filled up halfway full or more, some of them. And they make what they call a sewer jet that it uses hydraulic pressure that pushes a pipe through, and then you pull it back out and it cleans it out. Mr. Pauly and I, was at a demonstration, and it works fabulous. You can clean 100 feet of pipe with this thing. It takes longer to set it up than it does to clean it. It uses a terrific amount of water pressure to push this head into the pipe, and then as it comes back out, it cleans it out. It works fabulous, and it's something that we've needed to do for many years. And I think that since we have the money available now, it's a good project. I had thought maybe we would go in with another township, but their idea is to let us buy it. Let us buy it and then they're going to rent it. But I don't think that's going to work. I think that on equipment like this, if we own it, we can maintain it, and I think it works out much better. The cost of it is, well, before we get to the cost of it, they're proposing on the cost of this to put a antifreeze unit on it. That way, when you bring it in, if it gets cold, the antifreeze unit will keep it from freezing. The only problem I have with that is I can't see our guys out in the wintertime doing this unless it's emergency. And if it's when they come back in, I think they could drain it. This is $1,200 for the antifreeze unit. And I think that, I talked to Mike about it, and I think that the idea there would be to drain it when you bring it in if it's going to be cold weather, and then in the spring you could fire it up and you wouldn't have to do it. But it works. Like I say, Mr. Pauly and I was at a demonstration, and it does work. It does work. It does work fabulous. I talked to the clerk about the money, the $40-some-odd thousand, and I got it figured out. We've got inheritance tax in the last couple of months of $22,000 or $23,000, and then we have a little bit of inheritance left over from the Mullen estate, and that would we pay the balance out of that. I talked to the clerk today and about my figures, and she said, well, you know, it'll work. So I'm proposing that we buy this. We've looked at them, I don't know how many years, 6 or 8 years, and we just never could come up with a decent price. And Mike found this out, that we found one for $55,000 that we were thinking about buying a used one. And Mike found this one on the internet. It's a company on the internet that has a better unit at a much better price. And they're the ones that brought it in. They're from Southern Ohio. And this is a state price, so we're getting a pretty good price on it.
And this is a brand new unit.
This is a brand new unit. It has a diesel engine on it and so forth.
Have you ever used any time, either rented or donated, county, other townships, private services that rent their time on the machines?
Me personally, no.
So I mean, discussing it for 6 or 7 years, we've never even used it as a service to see what the cost is to do some of these areas.
So you're talking about a lease unit?
Just buy the time, you buy the hours from the service. I realize there are some areas where it may be useful for you, but we literally, we don't have any track record at all. How much linear foot needs cleaned per year? I mean, it's not going to be miles per year, right? It's going to be linear feet per year.
The thing is, we haven't used it, we haven't done it because it's just been building up more. Every year it gets a little bit more in there because it takes a big storm to clean the pipe out. And we've not had it, so it's building up more and more all the time. The one of the pipes over there was probably 3/4 of the way full. So if you would buy that, Mike's idea is to take in the spring or summer when it's slow, is to go in and do the whole allotment and clean it out.
Yeah, that's all right. I've said my piece before, and I'm not going to repeat it again, so. I would, and it's not that, it's just differences of opinion. Ordinarily, we pretty much agree on things, but in this instance, I would have preferred that we get a track record developed, even if it was 1 year, 2 years, see how much time we get into this thing, and then maybe that would actually justify buying it. You know, if we spent a couple thousand over a couple year period buying hours of time on a machine to clean them, then maybe we could factor, well, look, we're going to wind up spending 40 grand over X years. I don't know how long these machines last, but maybe you can get 15 years plus out of them or something, and it would make sense.
The machine is going to last a long time, especially if we don't loan it to any other township. And there's a couple things. We do have the money now that's been sitting there for, part of that money's been sitting there for a couple, 3 years. And this would be available if we found that we would have time during the summer. We got a little bit of time. We could take this out at allotments and start cleaning them out, because it'll move the water better, and we'll have the equipment there. We don't have to bother renting it. And if we just rent it for, if we just use it a couple days and then don't use it for another 3 or 4 weeks, it will be available to use.
All right. Is there a motion to act on something or approve it?
Mike, what do you?
I think I'm impressed with what it does. I think the township is getting more and more pipe because of the ditch elimination. We're used to clean the ditch with a machine, now you're going to have to use a jet machine. And the pipes, Mike and I did drive around, and there's a lot of pipes in the township that are half, 2/3 full. So as far as that part goes, I would say I would be in favor of it. Now, financially, yeah, that's another thing. Or if we want to talk this over some more before we vote on it.
Again, I've just said my piece, so. But I'm only one person here, so whatever you guys want to do.
I'll make a motion that we purchase it.
There's a motion to purchase it,
All right, I'll second it.
and I'll just vote no. But it's approved, all right?
We will need to, we have 15,000 appropriated as a transfer. At some point in time before we do that, we'll have to appropriate more if we're transferring more out.
Some of this is what was left over from the road program.
Some of it will be, yeah. And when I sit down, I can figure it out, and we'll see exactly what needs transferred out. We can do that the next one.
And we don't have any in the reserve now, right?
We
We don't have anything set up as far as an equipment reserve yet. We have 2,600 in road funds for equipment,
Yeah.
and then we have that 15,000 that was claimed to be transferred to road department anyhow, already appropriated.
We have 135,000 in the general fund that they can spend a portion of that.
Oh, I understand. It'll be paid, no problem.
They'll just have to be, we'll have to appropriate more for a transfer. We only have 15,000 appropriated.
Right, well,
right
we're
now.
not gonna, we're just gonna go ahead and order it because it takes a while, but we can move the money around.
Yeah, that's no problem.
In fact, there's some money left over. There's $12,000 left over in the road program. And that's what I was figuring, that there's 135,000 in the general if we take 35,000 there and take 12,000 that's left over the road program, it would make that we could pay for it. We're not gonna go in debt to buy it.
All right. Anything else?
Nope, that's all I have.
Ed, anything else?
That's it, that's enough.
Okay. Mike,
No,
thank you.
thank you.
Chief, when you're ready, we'll have Mike move on with the fire department.
Okay, Chief. Go right again.
Okay. Report for October, we had 40 total runs in October, 2 MVAs, 2 structure fires, 28 medical, 5 alarm drops, and 3 other, total 73 and a half man hours. Training, we did medical training for 96 hours and extrication training for 12. We also did traffic control at the food drive, did maintenance on trucks and equipment. We had the EMT refresher classes, and we did fire prevention week at Lexington.
Make a motion, we file the report.
Second.
Yes.
Have a request to use the meeting room by Walt Young on December 15th and January 12th, I believe are open.
Yes.
I'll make that a motion.
Second.
Yes.
Request to reimburse Jamie Rayburn amount of $84.50 for a part for the keyless lock at Station 2.
Make that a motion.
Second.
When that didn't work, request to approve payment to Clem Lumber in the amount of $314 for a whole new unit. What it was, we thought it was one part, and then we got into it. There's a spring underneath there. As soon as you open it up, it'll be done. So there's a whole new one at Station 2.
I'll make that a motion also.
Second.
Yes.
Request to approve payment to the Ohio State Board of Pharmacy in the amount of $112.50. That's for our pharmacy license.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
Request to schedule the fireman semi-annual meeting with the trustees. We're looking at January 8th, 2014.
Which is a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
Should be fine here.
Make that a motion.
Second.
Request approval for a purchase order to Blosman Fire in the amount of $800 to do our annual fire extinguisher inspection at both stations and all trucks.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
Request to approve payment to, how do you spell it, Elsas? Door in the amount of $175 for repairs at doors at Station 2. They went through all of them, the overheads.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
Request approval for purchase order to AT&T U-verse, amount of $70 for the internet service at Station 2 for the remainder of the year.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
Request approval for a purchase order to All Works, the amount of $400 for TB testing for all the firemen. This normally is free from the county, but they say they don't have enough serum this year to do it.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
And the last one, request approval for a purchase order to Breathing Air Systems, amount of $717.70. This is for our yearly maintenance program for the air system over at Station 2 for 2014.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
And that's it.
That's all you have?
Yes. The breakfast went well.
Good.
Good. Seems like it was pretty well attended.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else, Jim? Fire related?
No, you'll be sticking around though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ed?
No, I have nothing.
Thanks, Chief.
See you, Chief. All right, Linda's not here tonight, so I'll move on with the agenda items under the zoning, starting with her report for the month of October 2013. The Zoning Commission did not meet in October 2013. Board of Zoning Appeals met on October 28th. Linda is indicating she logged 134 total miles for the month of October. Also, she attended an Alliance Municipal Court hearing October 22, 2013 regarding the removal of property on Johnson Avenue. Attended the Zoning Inspector's Mutual Assistance meeting at Lexington Township on October 24th. Her evening zoning hours are in effect from 6 to 8 p.m. on Mondays. Received an application for a variance by Canton Air Sport of a sum of $250 for that application. And she indicates she signed one land split for Boyce and Cox. which is a $50 fee. 4 other certificates issued in the month of October. The certificate funds collected were $427.80, for total funds collected in the month of October of $727.80. I'll move that we approve Linda's zoning report as presented.
Second.
Yes.
As indicated, Linda has reported that she logged 134 miles on township business in the month of October. With her certification of her mileage, I'll move we reimburse her $75.71 for that mileage.
Second.
Yes.
Next item, we may have to defer, but she has on here to address the nuisance at 11405 Tullis. I saw the chief's letter in here somewhere. Ed, do you have any idea what we should do with the property? Yeah.
I don't know.
Mike?
I guess it's, what have we done? I guess I'd have to revisit that a little bit.
Well,
We've sent letters.
I'm making my point by the absence of information. You know, we don't have any photographs of the conditions. We don't have a report about what we would specifically declare a nuisance. I don't know if we're supposed to order it insecure, unsafe, or structurally defective, and then board it up, tear it down, or clean it up. So, once again, we're just being asked to act on something in an absence of information, so
Yeah.
I think as a matter of practicality, we defer action on it.
I agree.
Next item is a side lot program application for Roderick and Candace Washington. We have one of our forms for
I
this.
did not bring one over. I have it in the file. I didn't realize it was on there.
We have this really beautiful form that somebody
Sorry.
prepared for us. And I know I spent hours preparing that form. And actually the form is intended to just provide a real easy checklist to go through to make sure these side lot disposition applications conform with the limited review that we have. So rather than reinvent the wheel and bore each and every one of you to death this evening, I think we'll defer action on this as well. If that's all right with you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mike?
I don't know anything about it.
Then I guess we'll defer on it. Okay, the next item is to request approval of a payment to Ohio Township Association in the amount of $25 for Linda to attend the zoning inspectors group meeting on December 2. I'll move that we authorize payment for that.
Second.
Yes.
Okay. Mike or Ed, do you have anything else that's zoning related?
No.
No.
We'll move on under legal advisor. Ken, do you have anything for us before we approve this one item?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
In listening to tonight's meeting about above-ground storage fuel tanks, maybe Mike has already done this, but I believe it's going to take an application and a permit with the Ohio EPA to install 3 tanks above ground because they contain fuel oil, gasoline, kerosene, anything like that, and they'll probably want to look at the design that we're going to do, because if they leak, they need a recapture provision put in that. It's not a matter of just pouring a slab and sticking one of these things up.
So our old one's nice and grandfathered.
Yeah, it would be grandfathered. They probably don't even know it's in existence. But the new ones are more regulated. And I don't think we'll have to post a bond for that because we're a political subdivision. But Mike may have already looked into it. You can fax in these applications and they'll approve them.
That's a very good point, so we'll make sure that he follows up on
Yeah,
that.
I'd hate
You
to
wanna
see
just
us
check
put
those
in
out?
line
Okay.
and get whacked with a fine.
I appreciate that, Ken, that's very good.
I've dealt with these. It's not,
He's right.
whether they're underground or above ground, there's still a regulation.
All right, anything else?
No.
Okay. We have one item relating to...
Oh, I have one other thing. Did you say that the purchase of this $40,000 something comes through the state purchase program? Okay, so we don't
Yeah,
have
that's
to
the
competitively
only
bid
bid.
it. All right.
All right, we have on the agenda a number of bills from Mr. Cardinal for services on a number of our cases. They're broken out in the agenda for the Carlton Cohen land case, the infamous Attila Ilias case, the McBride case, Taylor and Goss, for a total of $1,009.32. Is that correct, Jill? That's
Yes,
the total?
that's correct, total.
All right, I'll move that we authorize payment to Mr. Cardinal for those legal services.
Second.
Yes.
Thanks, Ken.
Yes.
General Township items. Okay, next item, I'll move that we authorize payment to the Ohio Auditor of State in the amount of $492, which is for the agreed upon procedure fees for our audit 2011-2012.
Second.
Yes.
We need to discuss changing our December 24th meeting schedule. I'm not sure why, but some people apparently want to move that. What do you guys want to do? Just move it a week in advance, or does that make it too tight for getting payroll and stuff out?
Oh, we could. Or, I mean, if you wanted to do that, or just move it to the Monday evening, or...
Monday's fine too. Would you prefer Monday?
Either one's fine.
Ed, what do you think?
Doesn't make any difference.
Well, come on, that's a really important meeting.
Yeah, it's my last meeting.
Okay, exactly.
Yeah.
That's my point. So is the 23rd okay?
Yeah, that's all right.
All right. I'll move that we schedule our regular trustees meeting, the end of the year one, regularly scheduled for December 23, and we'll move that, I'm sorry, December 24. We'll move it to the 23rd at 7 o'clock.
Second.
Yes.
Okay, discuss payment to Alliance for paving on Johnson. This is the township's portion per agreement.
Right, and that was, we've already had approved it at an earlier meeting to pay up to $10,000. We got the bill in at, that's my folder, $7,609.12, which actually came in, he was estimating it at about $8,500. My question is, at the time we approved it, we didn't discuss where we were taking the money from. We do have 11,900 and some odd dollars left from the road program,
Cut into your road department.
which we can either take it from that, or if we didn't know, if we also have in under other expenses in general, it depends on where we want to take it.
You're going to be doing a transfer anyway. I would suggest we take it from the road program allocation that we had.
Okay.
That's okay, Ed?
Yep.
I will close the purchase orders that we have currently still open. We finished our last bills for road program tonight. I'll close those and then enter another one. Take care of it next meeting.
Yes.
Now, we don't need to, this isn't for a vendor, this is directly to Alliance.
It's
already
paid directly to Alliance.
All right, pursuant to our prior agreement with the City of Alliance to pay for a portion of the repaving on Johnson, I'll move we authorize payment to the City of Alliance for $7,609.12 for that project.
Second.
Yes.
Okay. Next item is to request a purchase order to AT&T for $150 for phone service for the sheriff for the remaining portion of the year. I'll move we open that purchase order.
Second.
Okay, Mike or Ed, anything general township related?
Nope.
No, I have nothing.
We have the cash revenue and expenditure financial report for year to date, prepared, submitted by the fiscal officer. I'll move we approve that as prepared.
Second.
Bills tonight are $40,661.92. I'll move we authorize payment of the bills.
Second.
Yes.
Number of communication items we've received, catalogs, Stark County Township Association meeting notice, Stark Parks newsletter, grassroots clippings, and so on. I'll move that we file the communications received.
Second.
Yes.
Okay. We'll open the floor back up to anybody that's here for any questions, comments, anything else that anybody has. Just raise your hand and let me know. Nobody?
If you have a question, instead of waiting until after the meeting, you're welcome to bring it up in the open meeting.
Absolutely.
We'll be glad to hear about it. A lot of times I hear things after the meeting that could be decided by all three trustees.
How many linear feet are we cleaning out in these ditches that we know of right now? We just spent $50,000, and we don't know how many linear feet of ditches we're cleaning out each year?
We can come up with that.
We'll have to see what it comes out to. Anybody else?
I'm just here to keep you honest.
Oh, that's good. You looked like you had something to say. If you want to, you can come on up. Just let us know who you are and your address.
Lori Wallace. I just had some questions about my vehicles on my property that were supposed to be such a nuisance, and I guess I've been trying to figure out why they consider it a nuisance. Cars in a driveway, everybody else has cars in a driveway. I guess when they made the ordinance, I guess I just kind of want to know, when they made that ordinance, what was that situation? I mean, these cars aren't, in the meantime, I have called a couple other townships just wanting to see what they would consider nuisance, and I was told that what she does, she figures if she goes and looks at it, if a neighbor complains, and if it's obvious that the vehicles will never run, they're not sellable, then that would be a nuisance. I mean, they're not in my yard, they're not in the street. I've got neighbors that are 2 houses down, they've got 2 cars in the street, 2 or 3 in the driveway, 2 in the yard, but yet it's a police officer. So, I mean, I just want to know why.
The only predicament you have is your vehicles meet the definition of a junk vehicle. Okay? That's the predicament you face. The other situation you're talking about are cars that are moving all the time in and out of the property. Yours have been, there are 2, right? 2 cars, they've been there quite a while. It's my understanding neither one of them runs.
And all they need is a battery charged.
They haven't run for 2 years.
But all they need is a battery charged.
I don't know, it seems to me like if you want to sell them, you could take get the battery charged. They've been sitting there over 2 years and they're not licensed, and they meet the requirement. I mean, they meet our zoning that they're junk vehicles.
There's no rust
It's hard
on
for
them.
the neighbors to figure out, you know, why don't you just get rid of them? If they haven't run for 2 years, you know, why not get rid of them? You've had 40 different excuses, and we've given you months and months to try to ask you to get rid of them.
The Cadillac I want to keep, but I've lost my job and I've put $3,000 into it, and to me it's you know, I just don't have the money to fix it up. You know, I've lost my job. I'm, you know, taking care of a mother that, you know, I can't go out and just, you know, I don't know where they expect me to take them. You know, I mean, they're on my property, they're not bothering anybody, they're not rusted, they're, you know, what do people do when they want to restore a car and I don't have a garage to put them in? They're not bothering anyone.
I talked to you 6 or 8 months ago, maybe even longer than that, and a couple months ago, and then I talked to you a couple weeks ago.
I only talked to anybody 2.5 months ago.
And we give you all the time in the world, and you say, well, I want to sell them. You didn't say anything about keeping them.
I can't say when somebody's going to buy it, but all it needs is the battery. That's all it needs.
Well, I'm sorry. I just can't believe that if you want to keep something, you can't buy a battery. You had a business out in Hartville.
I haven't been there for a year, and for 2 years with the economy, I was breaking even. I don't have a decent job. I'm selling Avon. That's something I can't depend on. And I just,
It's her choice that she
I
wants
mean,
to have that car repaired.
I've talked to 5 neighbors. Nobody that lives on my street that I know that's across from me, beside me. I'm right beside the woods.
Well, nobody's going to tell you that, but they tell us
If
that.
it's a guy in my backyard that can't see the front yard, why would that be a nuisance to him?
Because they're a nuisance, that's all. The neighbors are tired of looking at
Okay,
it.
if it had a plate on it and I was driving them, they're gonna see the same thing, so what's the nuisance? They're not missing the doors, there's no broken windows, I mean, they're not junk cars. What makes
Let's
them
try to solve
a
it instead
nuisance?
of going back and forth, because
I know,
otherwise we're
just-
going to be here forever. What do you propose? Do you want to just have us leave the condition alone and you just keep them both where they're at? Or do you have some middle ground? Sounds like you want the Cadillac.
I want the Cadillac, I've put $3,000 into it. If I would've had the money to take Uptown Auto to court after $3,200, I shouldn't have a problem with them running. They would be running if they didn't screw me over.
Okay, so
I was
we-
out of work. You know, what am I supposed to do?
All
I
right, well,
mean,
we
if
understand
somebody here wants to come up with $1,000, then I've got the money for my car. If somebody here wants to buy it, I'll get rid of it tomorrow.
Is the other one for sale?
Yeah, I mean, consider them both for sale, but she does want to keep the Cadillac. I mean, I propose we move the vehicle up to the garage, clean them up. I mean, the yard's upkept, put for sale signs on them. And as soon as she's financially able to get the vehicles in running condition, you know.
Well, we're really not here to create hardships. It sounds like you have a
I
predicament.
feel like I'm living in a communist country. They're gonna take my belongings. You know, if I had the money for those vehicles and I could fix my roof, I could, you know, I mean, when my car breaks down, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I mean, you know, what am I supposed to do?
I
Or am I
understand.
supposed to take them? My mother is dying, I'm taking her to, you know, the last meeting, I had to take her to Medina. I need to worry about my mother, not somebody stealing my damn cars, and if a tow truck comes,
Okay, we hear it.
you know, I feel like I want to beat the crap out of the tow
You're
truck.
upset,
Yeah,
and I
because I
understand why
just,
you're upset, but let's
they're not,
let's keep,
junky
let's tone it
cars.
down, right?
I just,
I'm going to tell you something. I'm about as far from a communist as you'll ever find, all right?
but I
So
just,
there's no need
I
to
guess
come
I
out here
just
and
want to
act like
know
I'm a
why other
communist.
townships, this is exactly what,
There are some townships that literally have no zoning, and you ever drive through them, okay? This township has enacted zoning laws. We have to at least act responsibly with them and deal with complaints.
well, they told me.
I suppose all of us
They
would
told
just
me in
love to not
Canton.
do anything too.
Just let me tell you
Well,
what
we
they
get a complaint,
said. In
let's not do
Canton,
anything.
She said, if you got a for sale sign in it, then I would consider you're making some effort. I don't want somebody's, I had a guy that wanted to buy it for 6 months, but he lost his job.
Canton apparently exercises its discretion in an odd way. Well, we don't do that, but we exercise discretion, all right? I'm telling you, and I don't hear any complaints otherwise, we're not here to create horrible tragedies for you, or steal your cars, or treat you like we're some communist czars. We're not. I can tell you my recollection of what happened here. Simply sent you a notice that there had been complaints about the 2 cars that meet the category of junk vehicles in your drive, and you were requested to move them. The word we got back was that you were planning to move them, so we backed off and gave you time to move them. Is that right so far?
Find the guy that wanted to buy it.
Well, that's right so far, isn't it? What I've said is correct, right? You're nodding your head affirmatively.
Well, I never said I was gonna move them at that time. I said I would, you know, if I had, you know, 2 months, I'm gonna try to sell them, but I don't have the money to keep putting an ad in week after week.
All right.
I don't have an extra $50 a month, you know?
All right. The next thing I got was a handwritten letter that was, in my mind, just a total flip-flop from the position of, hey, let's cooperate, work on getting the condition resolved, to we're not doing anything. That's my interpretation of your letter, was that. A flip-flop to, we're not going to do anything. Now, did we act like some commissar regime and hold a special meeting and declare your cars a nuisance and give you notice under the statute and immediately go hook them up and get... No, we didn't do that, did we? Okay, so at least give us a little bit of credit for being reasonable about
Oh,
the
I know,
situation.
I said thanks for giving me,
Okay.
but I wanted to still leave it there to try to sell it.
And if that's
So,
your proposal,
you know-
maybe that's a rational thing. I can understand if you want to keep the Cadillac. Fine, that's your primary objective, right?
Well, she wants to keep the Cadillac.
I don't wanna try to
and wants
get
to sell
my
the
money
other,
out
and
of
if
the
she
other
could, I mean,
car.
we want to know,
Let's
if
just
you said
keep-
moving it on, I mean, moving the vehicle on the property. I mean, I can see the Daewoo sitting out towards the street in her driveway, on her property, moving it up to the garage next to the Cadillac, putting a new for sale sign in it, or, you know.
That's probably fine. If you're asking, if what you want us to do is simply give you more time to try and solve the situation, you're not going to get any objection here. You're just not.
Well, I'm just
Okay.
afraid, I'm gonna come home, my car's gonna be gone, I've got stuff in the trunk, I've got,
We're
I
on
mean-
it. We're on a recording. You can get a video of this from the gentleman that's recording it tonight. You've got, I don't know how many witnesses sitting here in the audience. I don't think you're going to have to go there and see your car's gone tomorrow. That's just not going to happen.
well, I
okay?
mean, December 1st,
We're not
I'm
even gonna remove it
panicking, I got,
December 1st.
other problems to take care of.
Let's have you deal with those situations, okay? You are obviously under stress. It is certainly not our function just to stress you out. So we're not going to do that.
I mean, I could see if they were, messing up, windows and doors and, I mean, they're sellable, they're not,
That gets you upset again, and there's no point in getting you upset again. So let's
because
not.
this is the only thing I have to get some money out of, and I just can't afford to just
All right.
junk them. I mean,
Do you have any objection to just working through this?
Not at all.
We've already given her half a dozen extensions,
But they're
So
not,
give her
they're not,
another one.
they're not junk cars. I mean, they need a battery, and they need a mechanic. I'm not gonna lie to somebody, they was gonna sell
Can
it
we
to a
get you
mechanic.
Okay, let's focus. There are other, believe it or not, there are other properties where we're going to have issues with cars.
Well,
Okay?
yeah, down Abbey Street, there's 10 houses that are worse than mine, so I don't
We got some
understand.
situations on Beeson, which tends to get a lot of cars on it. I'm not real sure why, but people on Beeson love to store cars. So we've got other properties, and if I were to prioritize the car situations, yours probably isn't at the top, okay?
I think
So
so.
let's just calmly say that you'll work on getting the, is it a Hyundai or something? What's the, okay, try to get that one out, and then we'll see what the situation is and resolve it with you, okay? Can you just, I'm not asking you to commit to a time, but can you focus on getting that one out?
Yes.
And maybe we'll touch base sometime in early December and see where you're at and working towards that, okay?
Okay.
Is that
Thanks.
fair?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Anything else? Guess that's it. All right. The board has a number of items to address in executive session tonight. Under the authority of 121.22G, I'll move that we convene an executive session to address personnel matters, including policies and employment regulations, and also to confer with the attorney for the public body regarding pending court action.
Second.
Yes.
The only action I would anticipate that we might do is to enact some supplemental policies for employees, but beyond that, I don't anticipate anything else. All right, well, thank you again for coming out tonight, and we'll stand in recess for 5 minutes.